The autumn wind is a league, holding the treasures ye may seek. Have some fun and play along, whether for a day or for a week. Seek advice from a sage, or battle straight up. Square off in a cage, or joust without a cup. It's a FanDuel. Is it your favorite you take, or make the logical play? Will your foes stand before you and quiver and quake, as you will be crowned prince for a day? The autumn wind may be a casual player, FanDueling just to talk trash. But there will be those that will play, that will be able to say, I've got my hands on some cold, hard cash.
Hello and welcome to the Boxers FanDuel Draft Day. I'm Brock here in Los Angeles from our very own Red Zone set, joined by the Danettes who have their lineups and are ready to break them down for us. McLovin, you followed your worst showing this year with a first-place man cave finish. Were you a little more motivated this past week, or was this just typical McLovin dominance?
You know, definitely there's some competition in the studio. Now, we were just talking about this before the show. Actually, my high score this week in the whole DanDuel League was a lot lower than it was the week before. But last week, we dominated the league. The four of us and Dan were all in the money, like way up there. And then this week, we all kind of bombed together. So I was like the best of the worst.
Would you rather be in the money and in second, third, or fourth place in our group, or out of the money and in first place in our group?
In the money. Dude, this is
everybody agree?
Oh yeah, I'd rather be in the money.
Oh yeah, you kidding me?
In the money, but last among the group, sure.
Is it safe to say you get a little more sensitive than the rest of us if you don't do well because you're the football guy and everything like
Actually,
that?
have you ever once heard me say that? These guys, Brock brings it up every 3 minutes. But no, actually, Rashad Jennings is paying my daughter's college education this week, baby.
All right, he is our NFL insider. Fantastic. Well, let's look at how the rest of the Danettes finished last week. McLovin, of course, took home the top spot and was followed by Seton, who came in second. Todd Fritz wound up just where we like him, right in the middle of the road at third, followed by Paulie, then Dan, who's bringing up the rear yet again. Now, Seton has the most first-place finishes out there with 4, but McLovin has only finished worse than third once. Fritzy, who has had the better season between the two?
Ooh. I'm gonna lean towards. I think I'm gonna go Seton there. I think that's the stronger stats of the two. You could make an argument for both, but I would choose Seton in that situation.
I don't need to. I'm only to defend myself because of the miracle that was week 1. Do you guys remember that? Was that the craziest thing that ever happened in the history of the world?
That was crazy.
Well, I thought so. Week 1, I was number 1 in the. It didn't matter. I was number 1 and 2 in the entire league, and I'm like, this stuff is easy. I'm going to dominate these guys, and I haven't come within a mile of that ranking before.
1,000 or 2,000? I don't know how you.
$400.
That was insane.
Oh, fancy is a frisky mistress. All right, before we place week 13 in the history books, let's look back at some of the best and the worst from the week. I will step aside and let the guys have it from here. Paulie, your finger-licking good picking, please.
Cam Newton, a lot of people say, it's kind of like Russell Wilson. He's not normally a stat guy as far as passing. 331 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 49 rushing yards, which is about average for Cam. 37 points. Tom Brady, not a big shocker here, but if you look at this one, 3 TDs, 300 yards. With the lineup he had around him, I'll bet a lot of people backed off Tom Brady last week. He also had 17 rushing yards in a TD, and he had a catch for 36 yards. I don't know how many catches he has in his career. I'm guessing under 2.
That was one of the craziest plays I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He was the leading receiver on the team for most of the game. That's not a good sign.
When I watch Brady run, I get concerned for his health. I mean, even when no one's touching him, like, stuff's gonna pop. And remember when you're watching Forrest Gump and he starts running and everything starts popping off him? Whenever I see a Manning or a Brady run, I'm like, oh no, don't! There's a ligament flying in the air.
Run, Tom, run!
Oh, Brandon Marshall, this guy he's one of those players that is mostly great and sometimes can be trouble, but he's had a great career. 12 catches, 131 yards, and a touchdown, 25 points for Brandon Marshall. Now let's get over to Fritzy with some busts.
All right, we got some busts for you. I took Adrian Peterson last week, hoping for another monster performance after he ran all over Atlanta. That was not the case. I spent $9,100 on him between him and Brady. It cost me nearly a third of my whole salary. It was like over $18,000 just for those two players.
I've only been hearing about that since Monday morning, by the way.
18 rushing yards.
First thing you said when you came in was Adrian Peterson.
First and only.
I was just very, very upset. 18 rushing yards, 4 catches for 6 yards, a total of 4.4 points. Minimal production on the ground, and in receptions was not very good. My other bust, Dolphins receiver Jarvis Landry, virtually shut down by the Ravens. Only 2 catches for a total of 5 yards. Got you 1.5 fantasy points. Not sexy at all. And Adrian Peterson, once again, for the millionth time, $9,100 for that.
Not sexy.
Let's see who was. As Seton brings you his breakthrough rockstar.
I'll give you guys a clue. He really gets you a lot of bang for your buck.
Buck Owens?
Bang for your buck.
Buck Allen?
Buck Allen. Absolutely right, Paul.
Buck Owens is a
you're
country.
the big winner.
Buck Owens is a country singer.
I was like, I don't know if that guy being a football player, but I'm sure he is, because I would have no idea. Yeah, Buck Allen. He got you 63 rushing yards, 12 catches for 107 yards, 1 TD, or as they call that, the buck shot.
Buck was money.
Oh dear. Buck was money. See what we're doing there?
Yeah, just riffing.
Hey, Andrew, let's hear your system-breaking quarterback.
My assistant breaking quarterback is Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Mariota.
Can you get me some meatballs with those 27 fantasy points?
He's Italian, and Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Mariota, yes, he's from the home country. Yeah, some fresh moose. Yeah. And he also can run. He's definitely he's the fastest Italian quarterback since Vince Ferragamo ran wild over the LA Rams. You know.
Sure, he's Italian.
Oh, he's as Italian as they come.
Hey,
you kidding me?
No idea.
Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Mariota. He's gonna.
Honolulu.
Yeah, he's
That was actually one of the Mario brothers. The lost one. They were gonna have Marcus Mariota.
Yes, and did you guys see that run he had? Was that this week, by the way? He just like.
By the way, I had an argument with someone a couple years ago that Hawaii is a nationality. And by nature, Hawaii is not a nation, so it couldn't be a nationality, but it's a culture.
Yeah, but Puerto Rico is part of the United States.
Technically. Hawaii's OG.
Well,
like if you say you're Hawaiian, is that the same as saying I'm an Indianian? Because it seems like they have more culture out there, but it's not his.
Yeah, like I'm New Jerseyan.
Right.
Well,
but it has.
Actually.
But what if you're a Hawaiian Italian like Marcus Mariota?
Good point.
All right, yeah. Spam and Mostacholi. All right, solid breakdown there from the guys. We'll see how many more system-breaking weeks Mariota can have. Aloha. In Tennessee. Don't go away. We're going to get you ready for Week 14. Paulie and Fritzy are going to tell you who they're taking. And if you want to win your fantasy truck league, yeah, they're out there. Ride the Ram 1500 Eco Diesel to victory. This bad boy can climb a hill, haul a trailer, and brings home championship after championship. Get more facts at ramtrucks.com. Guts, glory, Ram. Welcome back to the Box Score's FanDuel Draft Day. It's time to get ready for Week 14, but first, let's reveal the Danettes Challenge for this week. McLovin, what do you got?
Okay, the Heisman ceremony is coming up on Monday, I believe, and we had to pick a player that was in New York either as a Heisman finalist or a Heisman winner. So we had to have a Heisman guy on your team.
All right, allow me to throw one in the mix, if you will. You have to select a player who was once romantically involved with an actress, model, or singer. Paulie, what do you think?
That's pretty good. I mean, it'd be better with NBA. They get more action in that neck of the woods. But, I would like to research that. I think that'd be a good day to spend on the computer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just go to Fritzy's computer. And also Brock. Brock, once again, that would be helpful on Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm writing it down right now. Oh, no, if I'm on the wrong website. Okay. All right, not sure if any of his guys can call a famous leading lady bae, at least not yet. Paulie, tell us who's on your roster.
Well, I had some assistance from Mrs. Paps yesterday. I said, do you want to help pick my team? I said, why don't you pick it? And so she's like, oh, I don't understand the process here. But then I explained it to her, and she got it pretty quickly. And she kind of threw out names that just stuck out to her. Now, I went with Johnny Manziel because I needed a person to do the Heisman. Then she goes, Chris Ivory. She goes, that's a nice sounding name. That sounds very clean. She said that sounds like an actor's name. Then she made fun of Todd Gurley's name. She goes, ooh, that's not a tough name. That's unfortunate. I go, but he's awesome. So I clicked on him. Then she said Brandon Cooks. Why would someone spell it Brandon? Because do people call him Brandon or Brandon? So she brought that up, and luckily he's a good player. Allen Robinson she picked because she heard him on the show the other day, because she watches the show almost every day. Calvin Johnson, she just goes, well, what other wide receivers? And he was the next one that was available, so I went with him. No reason. Delaney, she thought his name was funny as well. Delaney. Justin Tucker I picked, and the Titans I picked. So there's my team. I share credit or blame with Mrs. Pabst.
All right, well, sharing blame with your wife for going with Megatron, is he not as sexy of a pick as he used to be?
Not even close. It's weird because he's still very good, and Stafford's very good. But it used to be he was a guy who got 15 targets a game, and now it's just not that way. They have another receivers with Golden Tate. They've got decent crew around him, which is good for the team. But he used to get the ball, 15 targets a game easily, if not more.
All right, to the man who's enjoyed a 2-week stay in the middle of the road, just like a homeless guy, Todd Fritz. Who's in your lineup?
All right, I went with Cam Newton as my quarterback to fulfill the Heisman finalist or Heisman winner category for the challenge. Went Thomas, don't call me Lou Rawls against the Ravens at the running back, the one spot. Chris Ivory, not the same reason as Paul and his wife picked for Chris Ivory, but I think he'll have a good game against Tennessee as my second running back. For wide receivers, went Demaryius Thomas against the Raiders in Denver, Golden Tate.
Has he been the bust of the year, Demaryius Thomas, in fantasy football?
He has not done well. A lot of times when I picked Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders did better, and then when I picked Sanders...
Thomas picking up, he's got 2 TDs off Osweiler, though. I saw that the other day. I looked hard at Demaryius.
I'm hoping this is the week where they throw it nice and high, and Demaryius Thomas can jump up and grab some. Golden Tate against the Rams. Sammy Watkins is my third wide receiver going up against the inconsistent Eagles. Antonio Gates with San Diego at the Chiefs at tight end. Sebastian Janikowski, hope that the Broncos will hold him to a number of field goals as far as the Raiders keeping them out of the end zone in Denver. Packers defense against a lowly Cowboys offense rounds it out for me.
Fritzy, you've had a rough couple of weeks with these Broncos receivers. If Demaryius Thomas sharts the beds, should we say, do you avoid taking a Bronco for the rest of the year?
There's a very good chance. CJ Anderson let me down. I think I had picked Hillman once or twice this year. It didn't work out. And anytime I've picked Demaryius or Emmanuel, the other one is the one that had the better day. So I think that other than maybe the Bronco defense, I may stay away from specific Bronco players.
Vernon Davis screwed you too.
Vernon Davis and also Owen Daniels also got me like 1.6 points, I think, when I
Other than that, the Broncos have been good for you this year.
Other than that, it's been fine. I'll take that. I'll take them at 10-2 in actual real football over some of the disaster picks I've made in fantasy.
Am I the only one wondering which one of those players is going to be in the bust of the week, though? I can't believe that somehow Sammy Watkins got me 0.3 points. I've been saying 0.3 points. How do I manage to find these people from a
negative
team?
-1
point a game. I don't know how they do that. How it's possible they can't even do that.
I'm definitely leading a negative number player.
He ran backwards. Okay, we've got 2 lineups all set. And remember, if you want to play 1 week fantasy football against Dan and the Danettes, just go to FanDuel.com/Patrick and enter the promo code Patrick for a 100% deposit match. Up to $200 on new accounts, $5 to enter, and winners get instant cash as soon as contest ends. That's FanDuel, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. Stick around. Seton and McLovin are going to deliver their goods. Back here on the box scores FanDuel Draft Day. McLovin is celebrating his second first-place finish in the Man Cave over the last 3 weeks. The runner-up of both of these weeks has been Seton. Now, Seton, does this add a little fuel to your fantasy rivalry with Perloff?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it, especially because I figured I would do really terrible. And Andrew's actually had a great season so far because he's always right there, probably in the top 3. And so, yeah, there's a little extra where I'll be checking the standings and I'm like, well, where's McLovin in all this? Where am I? See who's he got left, and I definitely keep track of that.
All right, well, it's time to find out if Seton's going to make it over the hump this week. Drop the hammer on us, buddy.
Oh, man, I don't know. I tried to go with all different picks, people that I haven't taken so far this year. So I went with Jameis Winston. I like him against New Orleans. They give up a ton of points, so that could be a shootout. I went heavy on my wide receivers, too. So I've got Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, and Antonio Brown, who are all home runs. My running backs, Lamar Miller, I don't know. I mean, he could put up some good numbers, but against the Giants, that might be a tough one. I'm not sure. James Starks was really the last guy I could pick, and that was just out of like, okay, who's the best guy left with the money that I have? I took Travis Kelce of the Chiefs. I've got Adam Vinatieri as my kicker, and my defense, I went 49ers against Johnny Manziel.
All right, Seton, you said you're going with Jameis Winston to shake it up a little bit. Why go away from Carson Palmer and Cam Newton when they've been producing for you?
You know, I felt like, yeah, well, there was, like Paulie just sort of signaled there, there was definitely a money save in that, and I just like the matchup against New Orleans where I feel like he could put up a bunch of numbers there. And plus, I got real tired of, I'm like, almost like, okay, Cam Newton, Greg Olsen, now who else do I have? And I'm so tired of doing that, even though it's been working.
All right, you got to mix it up every once in a while. McLovin took the top spot in the man cave last week. Let's see if he can do it all over again with this roster of all-star talent. Who do you got, Pearl?
I started with my Heisman guy, Cam Newton, who I've had about 4 of the last 5 weeks, been dominating. You know, last week he started a little slow against the Saints. I'm like, oh, it's all falling apart for the Panthers. This week could be that week, but I'm hoping it's not. Then I went with like Fritzy, Thomas Rawls, D'Angelo Williams. I think he could have a big day against the Bengals. Deshaun Jackson was a money play. You know, he was my guy last week, and I made the mistake of rewarding a guy for playing well last week, which never works out. Alshon Jeffrey, just because I like to have as many players in common with Seton. Now, this one was just, there's only money left. Alan Hearn's coming off the, I believe, the concussion protocol. And, you know, I'm hoping they triple team Allen Robinson after his star appearance on the Dan Patrick Show. Richard Rodgers had a great week. I don't know why he was only 5,600. C. Boswell. C. What's up, C?
If we awarded you the overall victory for the season, if you could tell us Boswell's
Well, most kickers are named Chris when you think about it. Chris is the most.
Craig?
So, yeah.
I'm going with Carl.
Chucky.
That guy, that looks like a
This
Carl
was such a
to me,
stupid pick.
Cordell.
By the way, this was a
Porky?
stupid pick. I had 200 hours left. I had Matt Prater, who's been dominating.
Porky
And I was
Boswell.
playing inside. I took Chris Boswell. Idiotic. And then I spent big on the Carolina defense. I'm hoping that they come
Do you
up.
want to take a guess? Our producers are Googling it right now. What is Boswell's first name?
Chris.
Is that correct, Brock?
Christopher.
Chuckles.
We are confirming it right now. Yes, it is coming down from the tower. It is Christopher. So congratulations on that.
Christopher
Close enough.
Boswell.
I don't know why I took that guy.
Well,
Steve
McLovin,
Boswell.
you've taken Cam Newton, as you said, 4 out of the last 5 weeks. Is he becoming your new quarterback man crush?
Well, you know, I'm famous for not liking Cam Newton. People have always said since my infamous 2011 Blaine Gabbert is the man column, I think that there's been a little bit of me trying to make up for some past Cam transactions. Also,
offense.
dude, he was playing the Saints last week. I don't know why. Who's playing the Saints
You
this
know what
week?
you should be doing right
Yeah.
now, McLovin? I think you've really had an overall
Yeah.
whiff in the past month. You said during that, when we were on the air and in your article, that Cam Newton is 3 or 4 years away from being a great NFL quarterback. 4 years later, he's going to win the MVP. This is the call of all calls. You should be trumpeting this. You should get audio. You should be grabbing that.
By the way, you know, I don't remember. Dan always says Cam had the greatest rookie season. You know, he had 4,100 passing yards. Do you know how many of them were when he was behind by 3 touchdowns?
But does it matter when you just look at the numbers?
Yeah, of course it matters. He was.
Wait, a
They got.
spread-
All that matters is wins.
A running
All that
quarterback-
matters is wins.
A running quarterback who had 1 year of college experience throws for one of the great seasons in history.
4,100 yards is not that great a season. Also,
is
they
for
were
a
like
rookie quarterback
he
who
was
never passed.
far behind in games.
Right.
He threw 30 touchdowns his senior year.
Right, but they ran first.
I
You should be
hit
all over this thing.
greatest rookie season. We'll see about that.
He's no Blake Bortles. All
See
right,
about
don't
that,
go away. The
Cameron.
boss has had a rough fantasy season thus far. Time to see if he can close out strong. But first, this is Box Score, FanDuel Draft Day, and we're going to take a break to remind you that the Ram Heavy Duty, with its best-in-class towing torque and horsepower, doesn't need one. Get more facts at ramtrucks.com. Guts, glory, Ram. We Closing up shop here on the Box Score is FanDuel Draft Day. And don't forget that's right, you can also take on Dan and me, Danettes and Weekly Fantasy Football. Just go to FanDuel.com and enter the promo code Patrick for a 100% deposit match up to $200 on new accounts, $5 to enter, and winners get instant cash as soon as the contest ends. The boss has 6 last place finishes in the Man Cave this year, more than the rest of you combined. Fritzy, how much of a shock is it that DP is struggling so much?
Is that true? More than all of us combined?
Yes, sir.
That's insane. You know what? It's not a shock to me because almost every week when he gives his lineup, we all look at each other like, why that guy? Why that guy? Like, at least a third to a half of his lineup were like confused by the picks he made. And I know fairly recently he got lucky with a couple
He's
of
way
first
too close.
Points, but that does not surprise me. He's a very busy man, and at least he pretends to not be able to spend too much time on worrying about his lineup.
All right, well, we shall see if who's going to make sure Dan doesn't lock down last place finish number 7. It is time for the boss to reveal his lineup.
All right, here's my FanDuel team this week. I'm going with Johnny Manziel. The comeback begins. Doug Martin, Julio Jones, Sammy Watkins, Danny Amendola again, Julius Thomas of my Jaguars, Josh Brown, and the Eagles' defense against Buffalo. I got humbled last week. Maybe. I'm on the rebound.
Yeah, he's getting in last place again. His first 3 picks are crapshoots. I know I took Manziel, but Manziel's his biggest crapshoot of the entire week. He could throw 0. He could have 0.3 points, as Fritzy says, or he could have 30, but more likely 0.3. I think Dan will finish in last again just because I like to play the odds of any situation. The odds are he will finish last.
Yeah, McLovin, Dan's going with Johnny Manziel, as they say. Is he going to bring him down in a flaming mess?
No. Safe pick. He always, he doesn't really do that much bad stuff. He always starts out really hot in every game, throws for an early touchdown, ends up with about 197 passing yards, a touchdown, and if you're lucky, a scramble into the end zone. So that little bit of running might help you get at the top. I don't think Manziel is going to be a bad play this week.
Okay. Seton, real quick, tell us who comes out on top this week.
This week, man, it's tough to pick against Andrew because he's always right there hovering around the top 2. I'll tell you who it won't be. It won't be Dan. And I would say Paulie, but I don't like Manziel this week like everyone else does.
Fritzy's stacked this week.
Fritzy's pretty stacked. But he's not going to. No, it's Andrew. Probably Andrew.
Okay. Well, it's time for me to pick which Danette I think is going to come out on top. And I'm going to tell you guys that you're going to finish in the exact same order that you did this week. So get ready. All right. Fritzy, who's on the Dan Patrick Show tomorrow?
Yeah, third. Tony Dungy.
Kelly Giddish?
Kelly Giddish of Law and Order, SVU. We'd like to have her on in studio at some point, but it will not be Kelly Giddish. It'll be Tony Dungy so far on Friday.
All right.
But we do love Kelly Giddish.
Okay, well, thanks for watching the Box Scores FanDuel Draft Day. You can watch the Danettes make their selections every Thursday right here in Audience or via the podcast or on iTunes or at podcast1.com. You ready for this one? That's smooth.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the Box Score. Holy cow!